Hey, and thanks for coming back to this episode of the Real Estate Marketing Podcast. This is episode 2 of our series with Sam Beiler from Boostpoint. We've been talking about how you can do effective advertising through social media. If you have not listened to part 1 of this series, the second part will not make sense. So you definitely want to go back and listen to part 1 with this conversation. Thanks again for listening, and I hope you enjoy.
Nice. A word on format. So you were saying earlier about video ads and things like that, format and medium. Do you recommend that people focus more on like video or photo, or just do you have any kind of directions for people that are starting on which ad formats or which media they should focus on?
I do, yeah. That's a great question. Because basically, to clarify, with Facebook and Instagram ads, it needs either a photo or a video, for the ad. This isn't like a Google ad where you can just, put text and, that's all the base of it is, a photo or a video. And again, this kind of comes back to the objective of your ad. The reality is that on average, photo ads will usually see a little bit more efficient rate of impressions for your ad spend. So kind of a way of measuring your cost for your advertising as far as how many people see your ads is CPM, so cost per 1,000 impressions. And that will usually be a little bit lower with a photo ad than a video ad. Now, the other thing we have to realize is, a 30-second video, you're capturing a lot more attention if you can, have people watch that full video. So if your video is intriguing, instead of 2 seconds of them seeing your photo and glancing through your ad copy, they could actually consume, 30 seconds, 60 seconds of a video actually interacting with you. So it's really, you almost more want to think of like, well, what's my cost for the attention and the amount of attention that I'm acquiring from a specific viewer. So again, kind of general rule of thumb is like, okay, well, if you're looking to really establish yourself, brand yourself well, communicate well, some of it comes to is like your strengths. Like if you're pretty good on video and you come across pretty well, I really recommend video ads. They just, they communicate so much more. You can communicate so much better. You can bring in social proof. You can make that person comfortable with you as a person before you ever have a conversation with that person. So you can break down so many barriers through a good video than just, a photo that pops up in an ad. Now at the same time, sometimes okay, if we're building campaigns for individuals and, it's like, okay, this specific campaign, I want to generate as many leads as possible. So most times with that objective, we'll, look for an engaging photo just because again, your CPMs are usually a little bit more efficient with photo ads versus video ads.
And the type of video you're seeing on there, I mean, is it like a really highly produced, are we going for like a TV commercial? Are we going for like a really, artistic video? Is it, a selfie camera photo? Do you have any kind of recommendations for people I think when people hear video, a lot of times they get really nervous because they know that, big brands will spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars on a video. What kind of video do you see working on these platforms?
Yeah, so video, the guide here should be make it as authentic as possible. So, sometimes you can have a very well-produced video that's, extremely authentic, and it's like, okay, that can do really well. But most times the easiest way to get a really authentic video is just pulling out your smartphone and like having a FaceTime conversation with your audience. So just picture that, homeowner that's thinking about selling their home as you just be, talking to them on a FaceTime call. So literally just pulling out your phone, selfie style video, and having a conversation in that way. And you can get creative with this. I mean, maybe you just sold a home in a neighborhood, and it's like, hey Lancaster, my name's Sam Beiler, and I just sold this home in. It was only on the market for 2 days, and we got over $10,000 of the listing price for it. The homeowner's extremely happy, and while we're here, we're asking if there's any other homeowners in this neighborhood that are looking to list their home. Something like that. Again, there you can bring in social proof. You can build trust with your viewer, and something like that is going to do a whole lot better. And we've measured this too. Is like even like comparison like of that type of video paired beside to the same audience paired beside a video that a brand spent about $10,000 producing. That was more of like a promo style video, with like a voiceover and some really great video production, but it was more that promo style. Something great for their website or for a TV ad, but it just didn't perform near as well as that more authentic video when it came to Facebook and Instagram.
So I have two questions here too, kind of, I think they kind of go hand in hand. I love the advice of it doesn't need to be like this over the top video. It can just be a FaceTime, just pull your phone out, just record. Like I love those type of tips because I think people overthink it. So, let's say someone built a video kind of like you just said, I sold this home for $10,000 more. Two questions. How hyper targeted should they make this? So like we're in Lancaster County, should they make it like, hey, if you're in New Holland, give me a shout, and only market to people in New Holland? Should it be like county based? Where do you see people converting well? And then what call to action should they do at the end of that? So like if they're super hyper targeted, like if you're in New Holland, which is a small town, give me a shout, what should they do to end the video?
Yeah, great question. So the general rule of thumb here, as far as targeting, is to be as hyper targeted as possible. So with on the Facebook platform, the minimum for an ad, as far as like a mile radius, the minimum you can go is 15 miles for a real estate ad, because it falls under Facebook's ad category of promoting housing. So this was actually something they just implemented last fall. Before that, you could go as targeted as a 1 mile radius, but right now, if you're doing ads promoting any type of housing, your minimum mile radius is 15, which is still decent. I mean, it's not like you're creating a 50-mile radius and hitting just such a huge area. But again, kind of like looking at, okay, what's the 15-mile radius that I'm targeting, and then speak specifically to, that audience. So it's like, hey, Lancaster homeowners, or like you said, hey, New Holland area, I just sold this home. I'm one of the best real estate agents, here. And then kind of some advice I'd say for like a call to action, and just even overall like communication through your ad copy. And, if you're doing videos, remember that you're talking to people, and speak to their specific desires, and not just what makes you special as an agent. The best agents, the best people in sales are the ones that understand their customers the best, and that can communicate to their particular desires. So even keep that in mind, as you're creating your call to actions, your headline, for your ad. think about their desires and how you can fulfill those. So, even like an example of that could be like, hey, how to buy a home for less than you're paying for rent. So it's more about, hey, like, yeah, I want to buy a home. Oh, I am renting. And so speaking more specifically to their desires than saying, I'm the number one real estate agent in Lancaster, contact me to sell your home.
Next thing here, Sam, I want to ask a little bit about platforms. So earlier in the conversation, we talked a little bit about Instagram and Facebook. Do you have any rules of thumb? And you mentioned, I guess part of the reason I want to ask this, you mentioned that it's really important to have a good organic presence on the platform that you're going to be advertising on. It could be a little bit of a stretch for some people to have an active Instagram presence and an active Facebook presence. So do you have any rules of thumb for which one to focus on and just different types of companies or anything like that?
Some of it, I think, should be to, what you're most comfortable with. That shouldn't maybe be the main reason you go to a specific platform. Like, okay, you might enjoy TikTok the most right now, but it's not quite where the demographic for home buyers are right now. It could be in a couple years, but I'd really look at like the platforms that you can kind of leverage the organic strategy the most. And so, for that, Instagram is really great right now. Still being able to get a decent organic reach and audience. Other ones that people might not think about so much would be like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is actually a really great platform right now for organic reach. I wouldn't recommend it as much on like the paid ads side because ads are quite expensive on LinkedIn. But as far as like an organic reach, I mean, you can network so well on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great for connecting professionals with each other. And I think we always just kind of think about that more of like a B2B like relationship and not as like a B2C relationship. But the fact is like, okay, well, no, it's just like people on that platform, and those people, have housing needs. So how can I, meet them on that platform, kind of jump into their world and provide relevant, valuable content, to them and start to become known. Like I've seen the flip side of that a lot, like a lot of B2B businesses, really struggle with the idea of Facebook. Like, well, why would I want to do Facebook ads? Like that's just basically friends communicating with each other. And what you have to realize is just, well, go where the people are. That's all you need to worry about. Go where the attention is. A couple other like organic strategies that I've seen really well is like Facebook groups. There's so much opportunity with the local Facebook groups. Like if you have a Facebook profile, like a personal Facebook profile, like I encourage anyone to just like start searching like the local groups that you might have. There's usually half a dozen that have several thousand people. And like you can pipe in there on existing conversations, and you want to be careful that you're not doing like hard asks and hard sells here, but you can jump into conversations, build relationships. I know a roofing company owner friend of mine. Like he said he can, like, if he's doing this consistently, he can get like 4 new roofing jobs every month. Just by posting in Facebook groups, interacting there. The other one is Nextdoor. The Nextdoor platform is another great platform. And some of these too, it's like being intentional with your existing customers. Say, hey, would you mind, posting about me in the Nextdoor platform if you have a profile, or in your local neighborhoods, Facebook group. Some of these things maybe seem like maybe not as like flashy as like, getting Facebook ads up and running, and as like scalable and quick. But some of these things are like, they're so practical and simple to do. And like for someone that's like, okay, well, I don't have $1,000 to put towards ads right now. Well, you probably have, you could probably create an hour, 2 hours a day where you're going on, different local Facebook groups, the Nextdoor app, LinkedIn, and start doing some networking.
Yeah, that is really good advice as far as like going into the Facebook groups. I think there is a huge potential there to grow your business. Just for example, for people listening to this, I saw a guy who posted in the like Central PA house group, and he just said, "Hey, I have a free download. If anybody's interested in how to get leads, let me know." And it had like 80 comments on it. So, that guy, he just built up a pretty good list of people who were interested in leads just from posting that on there, something free. So I think that's really good advice.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. There's like, okay, once you start, entering into conversations, even with like maybe someone's like you need to be authentic. That's the main thing here. So like even just, piping in on conversations, maybe someone's doing, there's a neighborhood yard sale, and, jumping on that conversation is like, oh, like, I wonder what type of items you have there. I might come by, on Friday or whatever. But then, every once in a while posting something that's related to what you do and what you sell. Maybe you have a free market report, that they could that you could put a link in. Just say, hey, if anyone's curious about what the real estate market's doing right now, I've been in real estate for 3 years, and here's a market report that I put together that you guys can feel free to download if you want, or hey, here's a tool on my website that you can see what your home is currently worth, a free home evaluation, like that type of thing. It's something that like those type of offers work really well in Facebook ads. But they also work really well just in an organic strategy as well.
Moving a little bit to the content of the ads, just really quick, because you see so many of these, you've got a pretty massive data set for us. What are you seeing work as far? Any quick tips you have for people getting started in terms of the ad copy, the positioning of the ad, or the calls to action inside the ads?
Absolutely, yeah. So with ad copy, which is again the text portion of your ad and like your ad headline. Don't underestimate that. With our experience with the thousands of ads, that we see going through Boostpoint, that has so much to do with the success of your ad. So yeah, a great photo, a great video, that's kind of like the pillar of your ad. But engaging ad copy is very, very important. And a couple maybe tips here is, again, just kind of like write like you're talking. Is kind of a good rule. And, even short, choppy sentences, instead of doing, a whole, 3 paragraphs, split that into, 10 quick sentences. And clarity is huge as well. So, especially if okay, let's say we're putting an ad together for the objective is to generate leads for people that are looking to sell their home. Okay, well, let's start with what are we going to offer these people? Like, why would they actually give me their information? A couple of like the kind of standard offers or call to actions do work really well on Facebook, which could be like a home evaluation report or like a real estate market report. So someone that's thinking about, again, someone filling that out, they're at least thinking about maybe selling their home, and looking to, hey, get in front of those people more like the top of the funnel, and then having a process to qualify them. So, having some sort of very clear call to action and offer is really important. So I usually shy away from people just like, hey, I'm a real estate agent, contact me for your housing needs. Like, there's nothing really like clear to the point is like, well, why would I actually, fill that out? I don't really know you. You haven't really built any trust with me yet. So it's more like coming in with, a great offer for, hey, you know what? I would like to maybe see what my home is worth, or get a market report for my area. And then kind of taking that that just approach with your ad copy then as well, is like speaking specifically to your audience. So not just getting on there and like going through, hey, these are the 3 things that make me special as a real estate agent, and leading with your ad copy with that. You really need to lead with, okay, well, what are, like, jump into a conversation that's maybe already happening in their mind. And reference that. So, someone may be considering to sell their home, maybe wondering, is it a great time to sell my home or not? So it could be, hey, Lancaster homeowners, with the current state of the market, now is one of the best times to sell your homes within the past, decade, because home values are at a, all-time high, or something like that. Like, this is just stuff off the top of my head. So
no, it's really helpful.
But, again, then there's like, okay, well, you spoke to, kind of what I'm considering is like, well, I'm not sure if this is the best time to sell my home or not. And now you're kind of creating some urgency with, right now, maybe actually the best time. And then with a great, call to action that's like, okay, I am going to check that out. So really speaking first directly to, the conversation that's already happening in your potential customer's head, jumping in on that. And then after that, you can jump into a little bit more of, gaining their trust through, maybe you do have 10 years of experience and you've worked with, 200 clients. You can kind of bring that as, the second, third paragraph to kind of start to build that trust. Then after you speak to their needs, and then even building social proof. Like, I love kind of that flow in ad text for an ad. It's like, speak to where the person's at, and what they're thinking about, and then build some trust with like, okay, here are things that make me, unique as a local agent. And then maybe here's, like, literally you could copy and paste 3 to 5, Google or Facebook reviews from, some of your recent customers. And then, that's pointing to a call to action to actually convert them, to a prospect.
Well, you've given us a ton of value today, and obviously you clearly know your stuff. So if somebody is interested in the Boostpoint platform, what are the best steps? Can you share any kind of entry-level pricing points that you'd be at? Tell us a little more if we want to get to work with you guys.
Yeah, so the reason we built Boostpoint was to make Facebook ads accessible at a low cost for anybody. I kind of look at like the social media ads world as kind of like what Google Ads was 15 years ago. Like, there's just so much opportunity if it's leveraged properly, and like you can get a really positive ROI. But the challenge is like, well, how do I get started? So basically what the Boostpoint platform is hey, you can create a free trial, create an account, connect your Facebook page to it. And then we have everything there that you need to get started. So, the only thing you need to do is, hey, the geography of my ad, we have some ad templates to help you get started. And you can go from, knowing nothing about Facebook ads previously to have your first ad up and running, within about 15 minutes after you create an account. And it's an ad that you are like feel like comfortable with, confident in, because we have everything there that, we even have like conversion pages through Facebook forms, all there as well. So it's, you don't even need a full-fledged website like to get started to start generating some leads. And then all the lead notifications pipe, right through our platform as well. And so you can get started with like a 14-day free trial with our standard plan, and that's access to our software, and then you implementing it yourself. And then our subscription price is $199 per month, and that's your ad spend on top of that. And then the other thing that makes us unique is like we have a team of customer success reps here as well that are always just like a phone call or an email away. Like almost every one of our customers really leverages, our team alongside with our platform. Because again, we've done this for hundreds of people, done this with hundreds of people previously, and usually a quick conversation while you're building your first ad can be a lot of help to point you in the direction to get you the best results, jumping right into it.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. I really appreciate coming and sharing all that value. Austin, any other final questions or anything?
No, I think this was super helpful. I love when we do episodes where people can take these actionable steps and not overthink it, right? Like, I think you gave some great advice for people to just go and do it. And I think that's going to be super helpful. I definitely encourage people to look at Boostpoint. Go to it. I know they can help you. I see the Boostpoint ads. Like, I'm pretty confident, at least on my Facebook, that it's people who use Boostpoint in our area. So I think that's pretty awesome. And then I guess, Sam, is there any other way people can get connected to you, listening to this, if they want to follow you on social media, podcasts, those type of things?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm pretty active on the LinkedIn platform. So just search Sam Beiler there, Beiler, and I'm with Boostpoint. We have our own podcast. Adam, we brought you on, I guess, maybe a month or so ago. The Small Business Big Growth podcast. Have enjoyed building that over the past couple months as well. But yeah, would love to connect. If you're interested in getting some more information on Boostpoint, that's just boostpoint.com then there as well. But really appreciate this, Adam, Austin. I love what you guys are doing, just empowering real estate agents with the content and also the products that they need to grow. Love what you guys are doing.
Well, great. Well, thanks so much, Sam, for coming on. And I will link Boostpoint in the show notes and get your podcast in there in the show notes as well, and try to just get all the links people need to get connected with you there. So thanks so much for coming on. Thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll see you later. Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Real Estate Marketing Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and please leave a review if you liked it. We'd love to see what you have to say. Thanks.